Senate splits on budget padding allegations. All right, so the senator representing Bauchi Central senatorial district in the person of Abdul Ningi accused the Senate of padding the 2024 budget with about 3 trillion naira. The senator, while speaking in an interview with BBC Hausa last Saturday, alleged that the appropriation bill passed by the lawmakers was different from what is being implemented, alleging that 3 trillion naira had been padded in the budget. All right, so ever since he made this allegation, there's been a lot of uproar, especially from the Red Chamber. Senators are not taking it funny at all. The Senate has since come out to debunk these allegations, as they say there is nothing like padding in the 2024 budget. Now, how this started, I don't want us to drag this too much, but just to give a very little background info to people who have not been following the story. This senator, when the budget was passed last year, I think, was it last year, November, I think, you know, so it took the Senate like another 1 month or so to peruse and look over it, and then they passed the budget after it was some years and all that. Him on his own went on FBI work. I learned he paid private financial auditors to the tune of 30 million naira to actually unbundle the budget, you know, and like the Yorubas we say, fojusu no konwo, everything, break it down, analyze it. And in the course of doing that, it discovered that there were some projects that were repeated, you know, in the budget, and everything, you know, to the tune of 3 trillion, you know, was added that wasn't supposed to. Okay, so he called the attention of Godswill Akpabio, Senate President. They met at his, what's it called? Guest house. Yeah. You know, they discussed it. He showed him evidence, blah, blah, blah. And Akpabio asked for more evidence, you know, and all that. Don't bring this to the public yet. Let us be sure of what you're saying, so I can conduct my own, what's it called, investigations, and then we'll be clear. But one thing led to another. The senator, according to reports, didn't wait, you know, for that. He went on this interview and spilled the bean, which is why other northern senators, as it is, have sort of like turned their back on him. Because according to what I read, it's beginning to look like there might have been like a civilian coup against the Senate president, which is why the Senate is not handling this, you know, like child's matter at all. An update to the story is that this senator has already been suspended for 3 months, okay, for what he did. Also, he has had to resign as the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. He was chairman of that forum up until yesterday, when he was suspended. All right, so these are the issues. But then, while all of this was going on, another senator in a video actually revealed that they are all culpable. Nobody is clean in this regard. He alleged that some senior senators got as high as 500 million naira each, all right? And those of them, ranking senators that didn't get anything, they didn't go to the press or cry. But that what Ningi said is true, and making him look like, you know, he's a criminal is wrong, because all of them are culpable. This video has been trending since yesterday when it broke on the internet, and this has sort of like put another perspective to the whole budget padding story. So to kickstart this conversation, let's go listen to this Senator Jarigbe, I think that's his name, who made this allegation in a video. That video, since it came out yesterday, has sort of like changed the narrative of this whole budget planning, budget padding allegation versus, you know, no budget padding allegations, according to the Senate. Gentlemen, let's have your views.
We should put this one straight. From 1999 till date, padding is a word that has been reoccurring in every 4 years, yearly at different tenor. So it's not padding. What is padding as what is it? Which calendar year that there is no, that word padding did not come out? I know year now. You remember even when the Mr. Integrity, former president, Muhammadu Buhari came in 2015, there won't be pardon. There will not be pardon. At the end of the day, pardon even took place. But this one took another dimension. I listened to a particular senator from Ondo State yesterday. I don't want to mention this because I want to say something on it. What he said yesterday, this is the same man that owns a lot of media organizations at a particular time that he did not pay salary for close to 3 years. And he later sold that media organization. He's a senator. Where I'm going is this. The issue of pardon is a norm in the National Assembly. None of them can say pardon did not take place. That's why you see some people, even those people that want to castigate Ningi, when they want to say, they say, you will see them tilting towards, because those are the things. So if you have a senator saying 500 million in cash or in terms of projects allocated to their senatorial district. But one thing there is this. We have to look at it very well. Ningi is not just ordinary senator. So for him to want to get to the root of the matter, and there is one thing that the head of co-founder of budget said yesterday, that the issue of 3 trillion naira that I said that is truly, but it was not separate from the main budget. But what it means is this: what he was saying was right, that 3 trillion was put aside. But the only just thing is that it was not run concurrently. So that is what the head of budget is talking about. But now we have to now come into the balance of poor Nigerians. Is it addition to the budget passed by National Assembly? That is question one. That the Senate, the House of Reps, needs to answer. Two, that issue of 500 million, is it in cash or in project allocated to a district? And three, how can the Senate explain some certain budget outline that is not explained? For example, do you know that in the budget there is billions of naira allocated separately to empower the traditional rulers in Nigeria? There is another one that is put in under the one College of Agric in Bayelsa State to tar roads. So there are a lot of explanation, and this thing is not peculiar to this particular Senate and needs to be fair to them. It has been something that, but one thing there is that now giving Senator Ningi a name, although in politics is a matter of who is in charge, which party is in charge, and what did they want to do, how did they want to cover their own party, and that is the thing. But one thing that we still need to ask is this: what motivated that senator to go that far?
To go to the extent.
To go to the extent of paying for the auditing.
A private auditor, yeah.
So it's one of the things. But one thing there is that the pardon is not taking place on our budget by National Assembly. I stand to be corrected. To me, is something that has been, even during the time of Saraki, the same thing. During the time of Lawal, the same thing. Pardon is part of legislative harm in Nigeria, and they will not shy away from it. They can deny it, but based on books, based on record, based on figures, pardon is part of our legislative
Thank you, Mr. Adegbenro. Okay, we know that pardon is part of the Nigerian lexicon as it is now. All right, pardon. But the senator insisting that there is no pardon in this particular budget, the 2024 budget, because according to them, all the approval processes were done in public. All right. Also, accenting to the budget was also done in a public ceremony. So there is nothing they are covering. There is nothing shrouded in secrecy anywhere. It's all open. And this senator was just trying to stir up trouble, you know, for maybe personal reasons. What do you think, Mr. Shokuto?
Senator Ningi is a senator. He's a member of House and has been there for a while. He's a ranking member.
Yes, he is.
He leads a very, very important caucus, the Northern Elders Forum. So he will not speak frivolously.
Yeah.
he will not speak. I think it's important that we all sit back and, so sometimes when these politicians fight, it looks like it's all drama. But there's always substance at the base of it. They can't just come out and just talk carelessly. What the guy is saying is this. Let me explain. Yes, so I agree with Mr. Adegbero. Yes, pardon. In fact, somebody explained this in the past when in one of the previous episodes of pardon that we've had in the last National Assembly. It is actually a constitutional duty of the Senate to pardon.
Really?
There is that, yes, there is that level of pardon where, in other words, the Senate has oversight over the appropriation process. The executive will draft its budget. It's a budget proposal.
Okay.
Then they take it to the National Assembly. They can add and subtract.
Okay.
So, and almost every budget cycle we have had since I have been a sentient adult, they have always added.
They are always
2 trillion or 3 trillion. They always add. So they will change two things they do. They will change the crude oil price, the benchmark. They will change it. They usually increase it slightly so that the revenue can go up. Then they will now, add some projects here and there before they approve it. That's padding because they've increased it. Here is padding is just to add something now. So they add to it, but that one is done legally. Then there's another type of padding. And that's the one we need to pay attention to. Is that what's going on here? Where after approval, you see the Senate, the budget gets approved by the National Assembly, the House of Reps, the Senate itself, and then a joint committee. And then they now approve it as a National Assembly. When that happens, it becomes a proposed law. It's the appropriation bill. So at that point, it is a legal document awaiting assent. So it gets transmitted to the president. Anything can happen during transmission.
Within 2-3 days.
So because when it has been approved, some will compile. This thing are physical processes. They will now add, they will print it, huge bulky documents.
It's always very huge. You see the
bulky documents in boxes. They will now take it to the president for signing. So please, is it impossible
I've
for
always
something
wondered,
to happen?
they really read through all those documents.
Does anybody check the document that ends up on president's desk for assent and the one that was approved by the Senate? So if somebody decides to add some things in there, it will just go under the table, under the radar, and that's that. That is what this guy is accusing us of doing now. He's saying that we're running two budgets. That we have the budget that was approved by the Senate and the one that the federal government is running. So it's a very grievous, serious allegation, and it should be investigated. The question of why he would invest 30 million naira, just imagine that. Into getting into the bottom of this, I suspect that's political intrigue. He is not speaking alone. He's speaking for an interest group, for a section of the country.
And 30 million is a small chicken change for them.
Chicken change for people that collect 15 million.
Even just for a girlfriend. If for a girlfriend,
they give it easily. So the 30 million is not really a lot of money. But I think that it's probably pursuing a certain interest. This accusation didn't just come out of the blues. Why is he saying it now? Why? So you remember there is a rumbling between the North and the South. They're not feeling that the president is no longer, there's so many Yoruba appointments in the country today, and the North is complaining, so maybe this is coming from that angle. People have even alleged that this might be a coup where we're trying to remove a Southern Senate president so that it can be replaced by the Northern Senate president, either his deputy stepping up. No, it's no.
I'm not striking it out.
No,
I'm just
saying.
No,
I'm
just
on the floor.
Yes, please allow me to do my job. Thank you, gentlemen. Just to put it out there that these are sentiments expressed on social media as well.
It was by Senator Opayemi Bamidele.
I'm right. I know what I'm saying, sir.
No, he alleged that.
His opinion expressed on social
Mr.
media.
Depero, thank you very much.
And also opinion
But I know what I'm doing.
She has to do
Go ahead,
that
please.
for regulatory purposes.
Go ahead.
And it's important.
But then I have a question to ask very quickly. I do know that there are rules guiding the conduct of lawmakers, all right? When you're in the House, there's certain ways you're not supposed to behave and all that. But then wielding the big stick in this regard, quickly suspending the senator, don't you think this action is too quick?
It's actually shocking.
Okay.
And it's in keeping with the person of Akpabio. And I'm not going to mince words. That man needs to be careful. He has to understand that he's a first amongst equals. But this is not the first time he's threatening people with suspension. And in this case now he has gone ahead to do it for obvious reasons. He feels that, and Okoyemi Bamidele has also said. In fact, Okoyemi Bamidele is the one that called his attention and told him that if you don't know, Mr. Senate President, this is against you. This is all about you. So he has now gone ahead to suspend the man, even illegally, outside of what their rule books allow. You cannot suspend the senator.
To ethics.
Exactly. Rules and Ethics Committee is supposed to first of all review and then give their recommendation to the floor, and you cannot suspend him for more than 14 days. That's what their law says.
And another thing again is that if the man goes to court, we remember
exactly.
Deputy Senate President in the last assembly, this man from Delta that contested for Omagege. If Ningi goes to court and challenge that particular one, you remember that one, his own is the one that even did on national television that was alleged that was taking the mace,
took the mace
on national television, and at the same time he went to court that the Senate President and the Senate has no right to even the one suspension is by rule, and your rule cannot be greater than the Constitution.
But then, if that is what the law says and all that, they voted. The senators voted yesterday for his suspension.
Their vote is invalid because it runs contrary to the procedure of their own rules. So it will not stand if the man decides to go to court, and I suspect it probably will, or they will reverse it. But I think the real issues that are now the underlying current, and I think that's the issue that for us as Nigerians we must stay focused on. The conversations that are going on around issues of illegality and criminality, pardon is a criminal offense. So we should demand that a proper investigation should be done, a forensic analysis of the documents that came out of the Senate and the documents that is being implemented, that was signed by the President and is being implemented, that a forensic analysis and a comparison is done line by line and show it to Nigeria so that we'll know that this thing didn't happen. And then finally, on the issue of the constituency projects, I think it's also important. When senators come out, the way they speak and talk, 500 million was given to each one of us. Given. You see this language, we should pay attention. So now somebody now comes up later on TV, another senator who used to be there, and says, no, he was just talking of constituency project. It's not as if they gave them 500 million cash.
When somebody put Naira at the back of his own 500 million.
Exactly. Look, the man said, given to each one of us. That's what he said. He's not a child.
He didn't say,
he knows what he said.
No, he even put Naira.
Yes, now. 500 million.
And he did say we are all culpable.
And he said we are all culpable. Those are the languages that they use. So we need to understand that the man knew what he was saying. And we should pay attention. So this so-called constituency project is a crime scene. We all know this. It's a crime scene. Now, a senator comes out to say, no, it's constituency project and they don't execute the project, they don't get the cash. We know they don't get the cash. But
they got the contractor?
They get who appoints the contractor.
Who appoints the contractor?
In many instances, those contractors are even, the contract companies belong to the senators. So if I go and set up a contract company, how do you want to know? And then you issue a check to the so-called contractor and the thing goes into an account that I am the signatory to. So then what has happened? So we're not children, and I think that Nigerians should pay attention to this thing so that we understand in a period where we're talking about tightening of belt, where people cannot eat and feed, a senator has the audacity and the courage on the floor of the National Assembly, knowing that he's being recorded, to say, each one of you here got 500 million and I didn't as a ranking senator.
Did I go to the press?
These guys should, look, where are our law enforcement agencies? Where is EFCC? Where is IPC? They should be explaining these things. Somebody should call them. Let him come and explain what he meant by we're all culpable. Let him explain what he meant by we were given. What does he know that we don't know? And he now said we didn't go to the press. So it means that it's something that is supposed to have been shrouded in secrecy. We need to ask questions of these guys.
Then in addition to what you said, you remember the first holiday that the Senate is going to go at that particular time. The Senate President said it unknowingly on national television. That he has sent a prayer before he changed it to prayer. He has sent money to each of the senators to take care of himself. A token. And at the same time, later when he was called, the attention
somebody
was
called his attention quickly. He sent a prayer. He said it jokingly.
Why did you have to send prayer to somebody's mail when all of you are even there that you can pray together? Look, whether we like it or not, this democracy, we want it to work. But it can only work if we fight corruption in this state. It can only work when the body like EFCC, IPC, SCPC do their job and investigate, because this is a financial crime. They need to look at it so that at least maybe we are going to know, maybe Senator Ningi is the one creating problem unnecessary.
Well,
maybe it's the senators that are culpable. At least we'll be able to know, and posterity will be able to judge on that. Because one thing that is there is this: the money we are talking about is not the money that is meant for 109 senators. It's not the money that is meant for 360 House of Representatives. It's the money that I have. Part of that money is my own money, is Patient's money, is Mr. Shopito's money. So it is a high time that all of us will speak, especially the politicians. It is your turn today. The same way we told PDP when they were in power, that there is going to be a time you won't be in power. We told them, now APC is in power. If we don't speak the truth now, another party could be in power tomorrow, and this country is still the same country, and we are in it together.
Thank you, Mr. Igwenro. Thank you, Mr. Shopito. Well, already have informed us that today, updates to the whole budget pardon story is that Senator Abdul Ningi has been suspended from the Senate for 3 months following the budget pardon allegation. And the lawmaker was suspended during the Senate plenary yesterday, following a call to suspend him by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim. Now, the Senate actually submitted that Ningi's action embarrassed the integrity of the National Assembly. And also, the senator has resigned as chairman of Northern Senators Forum. The lawmaker tendered his resignation as the chair of the forum shortly after the Senate President Godswill Akpabio handed him a 3-month suspension following his controversial allegation. Well, I don't think we have seen the end of this story yet, okay, because we don't know whether or not this senator is going to pursue this matter of suspension in the court of law or not, all right?
He has the right.
Yeah, he does have the right to do that. So, but then that is something we'll have to wait and see. And also where all of this will actually lead to. Those projects they talked about are repeated in the budget. Are we not going to subtract them, remove them from the budget, or are we just going to carry on? Because